People are getting Squad Busters all wrong. Here's why. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Toonati. If you haven't been tapped in recently, Squad Busters is Supercell's new game following the success of Brawl Stars, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans. It incorporates a lot of characters from those games. And unlike most other Supercell games, this game has gotten a really negative release on reception, at least from what I've seen online. People are extremely frustrated with the balance, and I've seen people criticizing it as a kid's game, as just a dopamine rush, a no-skill game. However, does Squad Busters have a lot of balance issues? Is it a deeply flawed game in its current state? Yes. However, I believe Squad Busters has the potential to become one of Supercell's greatest games. And a lot of the criticism stems from a misunderstanding of what Squad Busters actually is, what genre it is, what kind of game it is. So I started thinking about this when I first remembered that Squad Busters had taken the place of another recently canceled Supercell beta game, Clash Mini, right? Now, Clash Mini, if you're unfamiliar, was an auto chess game. I played a lot of it myself. And now many people are upset with this decision. And as someone who played Clash Mini myself, I entirely understand the frustration. It was an extremely fun game. However, when I thought about it more, especially the fusion system, I began to realize that Clash Mini and Squad Busters could never have coexisted. And further, in my opinion, I believe that Supercell took the high risk, high reward route, and they made the right decision to push Squad Busters global and cancel Clash Mini to create one of the best, highest potential genre busting games we've ever seen. No pun intended. So let's think about this from what Supercell typically tries to do with their games. So the best example I can think of this with Supercell is Clash Royale. So to my knowledge, when Clash Royale came out, there was nothing like it. It incorporated the card playing and resource management of like a Hearthstone, a turn-based card game, right? But it added the live gameplay element where your cards battle dynamically depending on placement and interactions, right? Like you can throw the log to counter the log to Goblin Barrel and stuff like that in real time, right? You build your cards kind of interact like live, unlike a Hearthstone where it's very like turn-based, I guess. You guys who've played, everyone who's played Clash Royale, they know what I mean. And then if you look at Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, those also brought new things to the genre, especially like Brawl Stars was one of the first successful, widely accepted MOBAs. It incorporated like a League of Legends type of thing on a very mobile-friendly format with mobile-friendly controls and features, right? It really was a revelation for the genre. So I think this is what Supercell is going for with Squad Busters. Now let's talk a little bit more. I think Squad Busters truly is the perfect auto chess game. Now, a lot of you guys are probably actually unfamiliar with the auto chess genre. So let's talk about Clash Mini, some other popular auto chesses a little more. Clash Mini, Teamfight Tactics, I'll show you just rounds of that. They'll probably be playing up on the screen in my like B-roll footage right now. But basically, you build a team, and then they're on the field, and they go and battle for you. You'll see like Clash Mini gameplay up here. So now, I think actually, if you look at this gameplay, it's actually a lot familiar to Squad Busters. So I've played a ton of Teamfight Tactics over the past couple years. I've hit like Diamond multiple times. I don't know what rank. That's not like crazy high, but it's like enough where I've played hours of Teamfight Tactics. So I've been pretty experienced and really enjoyed the auto chess genre. Basically from like day one, the Teamfight Tactics came out. However, at times I get really bored of auto chess. Playing the same comps and stuff can be kind of boring, and it doesn't provide the same dopamine or like satisfaction a lot of times as like Valorant, Rainbow Six, League of Legends, like a live, real-time player versus player game where you can like pull off like crazy plays and stuff, you know? You don't have control over your characters, and you can't do anything outside of just building your team, and then they just go out there and they battle, and it's going to be the same result. I mean, there's some RNG interactions, but like for the most part, yeah. So I actually think in an ideal world, Squad Busters is the perfect auto chess game because it combines the strategic team building of a Teamfight Tactics, of a Clash Mini, with the like dopamine and skill of a real-time PvP game. Even with a weaker team, whereas in TFT Clash Mini, you're still gonna have to fight even though you know you'll lose. You're not forced to engage in battles. You can sneak your way all the way to the end. You can avoid teams. You can go chicken, hog rider, and avoid those stronger teams that you know will beat you. Whereas in other auto chess games, you'll just be doomed to a bottom finish there. So now, let's talk about some of the criticisms on this aspect. I do think a lot of the criticisms for the game right now, they come from people who've never played auto chess games before. And I think a lot of the audience is coming from Brawl Stars Clash Royale. In Brawl Stars Clash Royale, you should always be able to win. Like, to some extent, like a pro player playing a normal deck will always win. Even if you're up against like a hard counter deck. I haven't played Clash Royale in a minute. But if you're up against a hard counter, a really skilled player has the capability to win. They're much higher pure skill games and less of an element of chance. And I believe when people come over to Squad Busters, they expect the same thing. They expect in the early arenas they're going to win all their matches. However, auto chess doesn't really work like that. Let's look at the top teamfight tactics player in North America, Fnatic Dish Soap right now. He gets a bottom 4, so that would be a bottom 5 finish in Squad Busters in 33% of his games. He loses a lot of games. So I believe many people coming in from Supercell games like a Brawl Stars or something believe they should only lose because of skill. There shouldn't be any, if they lose, it shouldn't be because of luck. It shouldn't be because of a high roll. Whereas in auto chess, a lot of times how people express skill is, let's say I have a weak team, like I was saying, I have a weak team in Squad Busters, and I'll build, just like push everything. I'll build chickens, I'll build hog riders, and just run and steal some gems, get that 5th place, and that's a good finish for me. If I got, let's say, like bad chests early, like I got like Anita, a Primo, and a Medic in my first chest. I got a bad start early. I didn't get Trader, Mavis, Greg, Goblin. So I had bad econ. I couldn't build a good team, but I still finished 5th. That's a win for a skilled player, right? Or even like a top 6 or 7, even just surviving could be a win in Squad Busters. In like a Teamfight Tactics, these players view, in Teamfight Tactics it's out of 8. Sometimes people will view if they got a really bad game, getting a 6th as like a victory, as like a win. That's how they show skill, when a lower skilled player would get 8th in that scenario. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean... Oh, wait. So, sorry. Back real quick. So, I think a lot of the criticisms from people are people being frustrated when they get bad luck or they don't win. And they don't realize that that plays a bigger part in the genre of auto chess that Squad Busters really is than a Brawl Stars, than a Clash Royale. Like, you're getting people that play those other games and are projecting their same expectations onto there. And that's a lot of their frustration is like, I got bad luck, I didn't win. I didn't lose because I played bad, I just lost because when really they should be just trying to mitigate that. They should be going, I got bad luck. How can I make the best out of this finish even though I'm going to lose? So now obviously that doesn't mean Supercell is guilt-free. Despite what I've just mentioned with Supercell canceling Clash Mini to push Squad Busters, with them incorporating stuff like fusions into the game, which is a very auto chess mechanic, I do think there are mechanics in the game and progression right now that don't seem cohesive with the idea that this should be an auto chess game. So the current portal energy mechanic and the lack of a true ranked system is one of the biggest issues. The win streak mechanic is deeply, deeply flawed for an auto chess game. Like I said, if we look at the finishes, even the best auto chess players in the world cannot be expected to get a top 4 or top 5 in Squad Busters finish all the time. If we look at this guy Dish Soap, we can see literally out of his last 10 games, he only had a 4-game win streak at like his best. And he had like 2-game win streak, and he loses, right? Like I'm saying, these are 6. They're not 8th. But that would be equivalent to like a 6th in Squad Busters, right? You would lose your streak for that. And I think the win streak mechanic really makes people feel like you should be able to get a top 5 because they're saying we expect you to keep winning in order to keep rewards. So it lends credence to the idea that you should be, this attitude that you should be able to win every match instead of just mitigating your results. And I think also with no ranked, with no true trophy system, I mean, I haven't got Squad League, so I don't really know what ranked looks like up there, but I don't think it's too much like this. Top 5 is the only thing that matters because progression is the only thing that matters. There's no ranked system. There's no like matchmaking. There's no like trophies, right? So there's not really an incentive to finish 6th or 7th, which, like I'm saying, should be one of the main skill expressions in an auto chess game. If I can finish 6 out of 10 when I had the 10th worst start in the lobby, I had the worst start in the lobby, and I push my position up to 6th, that should mean something for ranked. I should lose less. I should still lose trophies, let's say. But like Clash Royale has like 30 trophies now. Let's say instead of losing a full 30 for going 10th, then I should only lose like 5 for being 6th, you know? It's the same way like Brawl Stars and like Showdown works. It should be like that. And I think that would change a lot of people's attitudes subconsciously. They would be like, that's a win. I got a bad start, but I still was able to mitigate my loss of trophies, right? Additionally, from an auto chess point of view, several game mechanics are pretty deeply flawed. I don't think there's comps that really hard counter other comps now. Like if you see a really strong player going with a strategy, it's very hard for you to build a strategy to directly counter their team. Farming strategies with Trader Mavis Greg are obviously incredibly strong, and like I'm saying, I believe part of this is the counters are just not there. It's not worth it to counter people because the counter to a Trader Mavis Greg should be an early game combat start, like a Barbarian, Colt, Shelly. If you see a Trader, a Mavis running around, you should be able to kill them, punish them. That's the downside to running a Trader Mavis Greg strategy, right? However, currently the combat is just not rewarding enough. Why, as a Barbarian start, would I chase around a farmer all day when I just get some gems and a key? Where in the meantime, I have to chase them this whole time. I could get 30 gold, 40 gold farming monsters. And so even if I kill the trader, I'm going to be in a weak spot for the rest of the game. I believe it should be more punishable to start with an early start without throwing your own game. And in general, there should be more counters. Also, I have a lot of the same issues. In general, a lot of other people have mentioned. A simple redefining of the genre doesn't fix some of the core issues with Squad Busters. Obviously, the combat system is confusing, unintuitive. You can't tell when you should take a fight, when you shouldn't take a fight, if you're winning a fight, if you're losing a fight, until it becomes extremely, extremely obvious. And additionally, the comeback mechanics in the game are just pretty broken or unsatisfying. It's just not like the underwhelming megas and the pay to win keys are just not good factors for a comeback mechanic. Unless you use keys, you're basically out of the game if you take a bad engagement, like one bad engagement. So I don't think that's a good thing. And yeah, so overall though, Well Squad Busters is still a really deeply flawed game. I do think a lot of its hate is still unwarranted. I think people are trying to put it in that like Brawl Stars mold, in that like Clash Royale mold that they want it to be, rather than letting it grow its own audience. I think Brawl Stars has really exemplified that as it's kind of re-boomed in popularity because it really got its own player base. People are passionate about that type of game and are not just coming from a Clash Royale or coming over from a Clash of Clans. I think Squad Busters community will be more mature, and I think the expectations and projections will more closely align for what a skilled player is, what a good game of Squad Busters is, what balance looks like. I think once it gets more of its own dedicated player base, people that are familiar with auto chess, or just as people that have played it, warm up to the whole auto chess idea, the whole auto chess genre. And I truly do see the vision here. Like I'm saying, I think it's a genre-busting game that could become one of Supercell's greatest triumphs. A new like boundary pusher, just like Clash Royale. I mean, Clash Royale is not in the best state right now, but it was crazy. It was one of the most fun games ever in its peak, right? And it could be a strong asset in Supercell's collections. I just think that Supercell needs to make the necessary changes, gameplay balance, and changing the incentives to tell people this is what the game is. This is the genre we're going for. This is our vision. And attracting players that believe in that vision, that want to play like a auto chess with like dopamine. Like that's why I love Squad Busters so far. I mean, it brings me the rush of like a Valorant or something with the strategic elements of a teamfight tactics and auto chess game, you know? And I think it does that in a way that Clash Mini really like couldn't. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's my take on Squad Busters right now. I do think it's entirely misunderstood. I usually do NFL Rivals content. I'm trying to branch out into different content now. If you want me to do more Squad Busters content, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, run it up. Anyways, until next time, Toon Natty Gang out.